Bitcoin will Moonshot. Hey guys, what's going on? Jab here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about why the Bitcoin halving that is happening today is going to be one of the most bullish events that has happened in a very long time for Bitcoin. Certainly, the most bullish event that we have seen since the ETFs were launched by BlackRock, Fidelity, and the others. Today, I'm going to show you with some historical analysis why the trend is that within 1 year of a halving taking place on Bitcoin, Bitcoin has always rallied more than 350%. Today, we're going to be showing you exactly how that trend plays out, why it's so important, and why it will help you to make money if you understand it. By the end of this video, you'll understand part of the reason that I'm so confident that this bull market has a lot more room to run. Yesterday, we covered how Bitcoin could drop over the course of the next week. Today, we'll cover how it could go into a major rally over the course of the next year. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Today's video is brought to you by Incogni. Incogni is a company that helps you to remove all of your personal information from shady and shadowy figures online like data brokers. Incogni, a company owned by NordVPN, essentially sends requests to all of the different data brokers that collect information like your address, or your phone number, or your personal identification number for your bank account. Seriously, these companies will collect anything they can get their hands on. But by law, they are required to take it out of their database if requested. Incogni automatically sends requests to hundreds, if not thousands, of different data brokers that have your personal information, like your IP address, or your home address, or your phone number. Ever wonder why you're getting so many spam calls and texts? It's because data brokers have your information. All kinds of different records that you don't want online can be removed if you go and request them to be removed. The problem is you don't know who has them, and you don't even know how to get it out of the system. I don't have time for that. I'm sure you don't either. But for the low price of $6.49 every month when you sign up for the annual plan, Incogni will do all of this for you and save you thousands of dollars from hackers that can use this information to hack you, or to dox you, or to put your public address out there online. And it will help to stop all of this robocalls and spam texts and all this crap that we're getting thrown at us every single day from people that have our information that really shouldn't. Absolutely incredible product. Very excited about Incogni. You can find more details with the link in the description box down below. But let's get started. Technical analysis is a relatively simple concept. The market did this in the past, so therefore it will probably do it again in the future. That premise has worked exceptionally well for over a century. And so when we are doing analysis on what we expect this halving to do, we have to look back at the halvings that have been done. There have been 3 halvings so far in the history of Bitcoin. The first took place on November 28th, 2012, and within 1 year of that halving, Bitcoin would rally 9,730% after that first supply shock that Bitcoin experienced. After the second halving that Bitcoin ever experienced, on July 9th, 2016, Bitcoin would rally 349% in 12 short months. Following the halving that occurred in May of 2020, we would rally 548% in 12 short months. Disregarding this first halving from our calculations, because quite frankly, Bitcoin began this halving run at $12. We've obviously grown considerably since then, and only factoring into account the last 2 halvings and what occurred following those halvings, we can find that the average rally between both of these markets was a 449% rally. We're simply taking the average of a 349% rally and a 548% rally, and we get an average 449% rally. If we divide that number in 2 and account for the fact that there are diminishing returns when it comes to doing calculations like this, we could reasonably anticipate somewhere between a 100 to a 225% return on Bitcoin within a year following the halving, which again takes place the day this video goes out. If Bitcoin were to rally 225% following the halving event, then we would see Bitcoin pushing up towards $204,000 within 12 months. Again, we are taking the average of the last 2 rallies, cutting it in half to get $200,000. If we were to rally 449%, the same average that we have had for the last 2 halvings, then Bitcoin would rally to approximately $333,000 in the next 12 months. I do think $300,000 is a little bit aggressive for one bull market, but I've been telling you that $100,000 to $200,000 Bitcoin is almost certainly going to happen this cycle, and this just proves it even farther. So while we very well may be seeing a short-term crash on Bitcoin as a result of the halving, we also might not. I could very easily see it going through a huge rally. We really don't know what's going to happen in the first week following the halving. What I can tell you with a lot of confidence is that the first year following the halving in general even if the first week ends up being bearish, is going to end up being extraordinarily bullish. So how do we take advantage of this massive movement that is likely to come to Bitcoin in the next 12 months? Well, we do this by investment. The first thing we want to make sure that we are doing is that we are dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin on a weekly basis. Every Friday, we are putting money into Bitcoin. First and foremost, putting money into our retirement account, so that's the stock market, but also potentially putting a little bit of Bitcoin into a Roth IRA through someone like iTrust Capital or Bitcoin IRA. There's a lot of different companies out there that'll do that. Following that, though, the same way that after you max out retirement account, you'd invest in a brokerage account, then we would start to invest in Bitcoin on a weekly basis, the same way we would any other cryptocurrency, while keeping 5 to 15% of the weekly allotment that we are putting into that market in cash. That allows for us to build up our cash account as Bitcoin goes up. So if Bitcoin starts correcting here, then we start deploying capital. If Bitcoin did drop down to $47,000, as we've said is possible, that's where we would start deploying maybe 10% of our cash this week, 10% of our cash next week, 5% of our cash the week after, not ever completely depleting our cash reserves that are set aside for investment purposes, but continuing to lower our average cost basis if Bitcoin were to drop down to $50,000. If not, though, we just continue to dollar cost average and we wait until Bitcoin gets to at least $100,000, and then that is where we would start to begin taking profits on Bitcoin that we were holding for the cycle. That's why it's important to differentiate whether we're holding Bitcoin for retirement or for the cycle. If we're holding it for the cycle, then after we pass about $100,000, I'm going to recommend about a 1% withdrawal rate. That means every week, not month, not year, 1% a week, we're going to start taking 1% of the portfolio value every single week. As it seems that we're getting closer to an all-time high, things are trailing off, we're starting to see momentum slow down, fear and greed's coming down, sentiment's coming down, then we start to increase that percentage. We start to say, okay, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5% a week, and that's where we begin to take our profits out of Bitcoin so that we can cycle it over into our next wealth generation venture. In short, we're expecting an extremely powerful Bitcoin bull market and rally over the next 12 months, and to make the most of it, we want to make sure we're dollar cost averaging below $80,000 to $90,000. After we start getting above $100,000, we flip the script and start selling, but for now, we're still in buy mode, and I'm really excited to tell you guys that there's a lot of opportunity to be made in the cryptocurrency space if you follow the principles of financial sovereignty, and if, as a part of that, you continue to invest for the future. But one of the ways that you can invest for the future is by investing in your privacy. The last thing you want is to get doxxed. You know, it's really sad how many of us, our phone numbers, our addresses, our IP addresses, our vehicle identification number on our cars, our license plates, all kinds of crap is out there online that should not be in the hands of data brokers. You've never even heard of most of these companies that have your information. I, as a business owner, I'll go ahead and tell you this. This is scary. I, as a business owner, get emails from these data brokers saying, I've got a bunch of data on different people in business. They're called networking lists, is the politically correct term. And that is people's information that is being sold to people like me, which I never buy it because I don't want anybody's information unless they themselves gave it to me. As a person, I don't give out your phone number unless I verify with you that I'm allowed to do that, because I call that respect. Unfortunately, we call that legal in America. On the other hand, the good news is these companies are forced to delete that data by law so long as they're requested to do it. Incogni can hunt down the companies that have that data, request that they'll delete it, and they can even get it put on something called a suppression list, which means that that data broker in particular agrees to never hold your data ever again. Absolutely incredible product. I highly recommend it, so make sure to check it out with the link in the description box down below so that you are sovereign over your ID. I do hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned because we have a lot more content to come. Massive things are coming in crypto, and if you are structured about how you invest in it and build wealth, you will be set up for success. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Oh, I got a real good feeling.